What's up guys, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. So in today's video we're going to be working on the mini bike. So what we're going to do in this week is we're going to convert this frame into a roller. So this week I bought these two tires from Princess Auto, and it came with the sprocket installed and also the brake disc on this side. It was already installed, so I didn't have to do anything. What I'm going to have to do now is install these tires on that bike. So let's get working. Step number 1 is removing this engine and getting this engine mount welded up fully. So guys, the next step after getting that welded on is finding my ride height. I'm not very tall, and this bike is already pretty tall because I wanted to fit that massive engine without removing the tank or anything like that. So this is what we've got. The height's going to be 3 inches off the ground. Each brick is 2 inches and that piece of plywood is 1 inch. So about 3 inches. Now I just need to find a way to line up the rear wheel, find out where I'm going to make the brackets to weld the wheel on. So this is what it's going to look like. This actually looks so sick right now, but this is where I'm going to have to make a tab so I can weld this side of the wheel, and then the same tab would be on that side. The tabs are going to be made out of this piece. This piece is going to be cut for the back 3 inches and 3 inches on that side, and for the front I'm going to make it 2 inches. So that's what I'm going to do. Cut this out 3, 3, 2, and 2. This is what it's going to look like when it's basically going to be on. I really like this. It actually looks super cool, and best thing about this is it's all homemade. So guys, just cut the 2 mounts for the rear tire, 3 inches long and 1.5 inch wide. Now it's time for the worst thing, drilling these out. So let's start drilling them out, and hopefully this drill doesn't die. There you go. Both of them are drilled out. Now just need to enlarge them. So using my step bit, I'm going to drill these holes to 7/16. So guys, right now it's time to make this into a rolling frame. I bought this bolt. It's 12 inches long and 3/8 in diameter. It's a little skinny, so we're gonna have to make it a little fatter by adding a layer of tape. These are the brackets, and this is the tire. Let's get to work. Put the bolt through the bike tire and then install your last bracket. Now let's tack weld this up, and then we'll fully weld this. Okay guys, so I just welded the back brackets on, but off camera. Took me a while, but I've done it. I've also done the front ones. The front tubing is pretty thin, especially where the suspension is, so there's a couple of holes I need to fix up before I can move on. The thing I'm going to do after is cut out spacers that can keep the wheel in place, because right now it moves around, so I need to cut some spacers. So I have some tube which is almost the same thickness as the axle, so I'm going to cut some tubing. So guys, here I got the spacers here, and the space is there. So I got the back wheel also on, and also got the front wheel on. Spacer, 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 bolt, and just tightened everything down. This is what it looks like so far. Really looks great. Really looks like a mini bike so far. Right now I'm just working on these foot pegs. These foot pegs were actually my old steering, old handlebars. I got rid of them because I didn't like the way they looked. So I decided I could just use it for the foot pegs. The foot pegs are 8 inches long, and they have this tube welded on the end of them. That way I can have it angled on. So I'm gonna have a little bit, not straight, but like a little off this side. So I'm gonna do this one now. So guys, we're basically done with the bike. We've got the front and rear tire on. We've got the mounts welded on. What we're gonna do right now is build a kickstand for this bike. That's the only thing it needs. Right now it's sitting on some bricks and the seat, which I still have to make. But for now, that's what it's sitting on. We need to build the stand. So for the stand, I have this piece of 1x1. I just cut this small piece of rectangle out with a grinder. So basically, it's three-sided. 1, 2, and then there's one on the bottom. I have this piece of tube lying around. Where'd it go? Kickstand's gonna work like this. I'm gonna have to drill a hole on this side, through this tubing, through this side. So then this will be off position, and then on position. Off position, on position. So that's how it's gonna work. And I also need to find some sort of spring. But for now, let's start cutting and drilling this out. So after some drilling, we got these 2 holes drilled out and those 2 holes drilled out as well. So now I'm just going to install the screw in here, the bolt that will hold these 2 together, and I'll show you what I mean. So just like that, we have a kickstand. It goes in and comes out. So let's see if this is going to work. Just done with the stand. Now I'm going to go ahead and weld it right behind this engine mount. I think that's an appropriate place. It's going to be like this. It sticks out just like that. And there you go, guys. The bike is standing with the stand. This is honestly probably the easiest thing to make out of the build. Only took about 15-20 minutes, and I made it with everything I had at home. I didn't have to buy a single thing. Super easy stand, and it's quite durable. This bike, as it is right now, probably weighs about 40-55 pounds. So it's good weight, and it's holding just well. Really impressed by this, and that's where we're gonna have to conclude the video. I'll give you a brief overview before we end it. So guys, there's a spacer here. And the spacer is made out of the same material I made the stand with. There's a spacer on this side. There's 2 lock washers here. No, sorry, these aren't lock washers, but there's two bolts here which are gonna hold this thing together. Front tire. The forks are here. They have some sort of suspension. It's not great, but it is what it is. On the back, we have the rear tire installed. This bolt here is 12 inches. The one in the front is 10 inches. Got a washer here, a spacer here, and we've got a spacer here. This is where the disc brake is, and that's where we're going to keep the hydraulic brake. Here's a sprocket. It's 35 chain. Those are the 2 foot pegs I designed. They're also made out of 7/8 tubing, and that's the same tubing I used to make these handlebars. That's my engine there. Next video, hopefully we have that installed. The throttle, chain, clutch. And then once we get a brief run, I'm gonna do the brakes. So alright guys, that's it for this week's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up and please subscribe, guys. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys next week.